By the end of 2022, a year which saw disastrous returns and massive scandals culminating in the collapse of crypto exchange FTX, many were calling it the end of cryptocurrency, of the industry. Yet over the last month, the two largest cryptos, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have both jumped over 20% to start the new year and lead a resurgence in the market, and that is good news for our friend Greg Johnson, CEO of Rubicon Crypto, to tell us what to make all of this. Greg, are you having a sense of optimism with all of this?
Cautious optimism, Jeff, and good to be with you as always. And, look, this is welcome news for an industry that's been quite exhausted after a year in which, returns and scandal, everything has been down. And as we know, it hasn't just been for crypto and blockchain and digital assets. The markets have been down in 2022 in just about everything. But boy, this has been welcome news indeed for many crypto investors and many people in the industry as well. We're not out of the woods yet. We're not out of the woods yet.
Are there any new developments to the FTX scandal that dominated so many of the financial headlines?
Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about FTX, you and I, on camera and off camera for a long time. There are new developments. First of all, it's been amazing. There has been a canary choir of sorts. All the former executives, senior executives of FTX have each taken plea deals, unlike we haven't seen in many, many cases, Jeff, where they've all cooperated and turned state's witness. Very unusual to have more than one senior executive take a plea deal, but now there are three that are in alignment. It's going to be very, very difficult for this Sam Bankman-Fried to escape all of the scandal, all of the mounting litigation that's coming his way. And also interesting news about FTX this week, it was released today, as a matter of fact, that 1 out of 3 members of Congress actually received donations on both sides. So bipartisanship is not dead in DC, but it just goes to show you how far and wide the crypto lobby is. That's actually a subject you and I talked about back in the summer of 2022. And just today we saw that news come out. Frankly, I'm surprised it's not more than 50% of the membership in Congress.
How about what kind of thoughts can you share with crypto investors who may be watching this segment?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Can we please learn our lessons from the last year or so? We've been speaking to your audience over the past year and a half about taking a common sense approach and having rational exuberance. And boy, if that doesn't ring true after 2022, I don't know what it's going to take. This may be a tremendous time for many people to enter the digital asset industry for the first time. But when they do, they should do so only with a very small amount of their portfolio. And they should also have not a long-term horizon, Jeff, but the longest-term horizon. And I think when you do that, it's an appropriate way to participate. After all, the reason we're involved in digital assets and crypto is we believe these are some of the most exciting technologies for the next several decades, and they have the network scaling potential that we saw with the internet and we saw with companies like Amazon. And I think that's why so many people are still excited, including everybody here at Rubicon Crypto. But we're gonna need some regulatory help, and I think we're gonna get that this year. And I'll be speaking up at NYU, as a matter of fact, next week on the subject of regulation in crypto, and I can tell you all about it later.
Great. And finally, Greg, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Look in your crystal ball for a minute. It's the month of December in 2023. What does our conversation look like here on the air?
I think we're gonna look back and we're gonna say we had a year of more volatility. But more than anything else, Jeff, I just touched on it in the last bit, the regulatory involvement that we've been talking about with you and the audience over the course of 2022, we're going to see meaningful regulation coming out of Congress, meaningful regulation coming out of the agencies like the SEC, like the CFTC. Those are all good things for investors, but they're especially good for the economy here in Georgia, because so much of the base, the establishment of the fintech industry that's already robust in Georgia, indeed in Atlanta, benefits from a healthy crypto ecosystem. It's 1 + 1 = 4 or 5. So I think we're gonna see volatility at the end of the year, but we're gonna look back and say, my God, we've come a long way.
Greg Johnson, the CEO of Rubicon Crypto. Always enjoy our chats here. Thanks. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, John.